Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where Valentina here is preparing to dock up with our prison ship to bring it some much needed supplies. We're heading on over here to the maneuver node very slowly. This is a lot of weight to move with just a reaction wheel, just a small reaction wheel at that. Like the built-in reaction wheel into this module. There's not a lot there, that's for sure. So we're preparing for our burn here, and remember our burn is set up to give us this intercept within 1.4 kilometers. Should be close enough. No real concerns there as of yet. I'm going to freeze our physics here and position us just that little bit closer before we're ready to warp. There we go. And we'll warp on over. Excellent. We have to do a full orbit because our timing wasn't perfect. And now we have to reposition our, well, position. We have to reposition here. We were slightly off. That's no shocker, but we were relatively close. So we'll get positioned here. Okay. We're slightly off still. I just killed the physics, and there we go. 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. And off we go. We've thrust limited this down so that we have a little bit more time to work on these sorts of things. We had way too much thrust to weight in this, obviously. And we're still going to have a decent amount of delta V left to do our actual braking burn with. Okay. Let's just get this last little bit of delta V burned off here. This is probably close enough. How's that looking? Yeah, that's close enough. Okay, so we're going to switch into target mode here, and we're going to want to warp, let's see here, this is going to be, we're going retrograde, right? So we're going this way, so we'll want to warp to somewhere around here. Beautiful. And our prison ship should be out here somewhere. There it is. Hello, prison ship. We're of course going to need to flip over to target retrograde here. And we're going to want to kill our relative velocity fairly soon. Or more specifically, we're going to want to do a corrective burn, because we want to get a little closer here. So, once we have this burned out, that will be helpful. That's 175 meters per second, though. So that's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to position over here, and let's see here. This is retrograde, so I believe it is pushed, not pulled. So we're going to want to be over here. Ooh, this is moving a lot. Okay. Yeah, we're going to want to go directly onto the retrograde marker. We're passing by it a little faster than I anticipated. So we're going to go directly onto the retrograde marker here and kill our relative velocity. We want to push the retrograde marker over towards the anti-target marker. But for now, I'm content with just killing our relative velocity. We don't need to do anything fancy here with this turning speed. It's fine. Okay, so we're just going to push this together a little bit here. 0.5 meter per second. Sure, we can make our way up. We've got 34 meters per second left in this. I mean, we can burn all of that towards target at this point, I feel like. And then we can ditch this, and our turning speed will be much better. So I'm just going to burn all of this towards target, and we'll kill our relative velocity eventually. Okay, it's not exactly towards target. We'll pull this marker down a little bit. There we go. And we will get ourselves a little bit of distance. This engine didn't actually. Okay, that makes more sense. So there we go. Now we can turn around much more snappily. Fantastic. So we're headed on in here, and we're going to need to... I can never remember this. Okay. Yep, it's pushed away. So I'm just doing some corrective burns and slowing us down simultaneously. We're going to want to slow down a little bit more than this. We're pretty close right now. Cool. We're moving at about 4 meters per second right now, doing a quick corrective burn here. Beautiful. 3 meters per second. Let's slow that on down. 0.7 meters per second. And at this point, we can flip around. And there goes our booster. Goodbye, booster. And I want to be targeting... If I can grab it. I want to be targeting our docking port that we have here for exactly this purpose. Then I want to point towards target. Actually, I want to kill our relative velocity. So let's head over here first. We're close enough for sure. And yeah, this will do. So now we'll point towards target. We're slightly off in terms of our relative velocity, but it's fine. Now we're going to swap over here, and we're going to set this as our target. And we're going to turn this not that direction. We actually need to go down this way. Cool. Point directly at that target. There we go. And point directly at the target. Get zoomed in a bit here. And yeah, I think we're slightly off, but I'm going to head in like so. RCS on, and just adjusting our heading. Oh, that's sensitive. Okay. Something along the lines of that, and we'll just accelerate a little bit with our RCS. Cool. Taking this down just ever so slightly and changing our heading here. This looks like a decent dock. We have, of course, successfully rendezvoused. But this should, in theory, do the dock. Excellent. There we go. So we've docked up now. World first milestone. Fantastic. Now, there's no way at this point for Stany to make her way into here. But what if she tricked Valentina into coming into here? There's some sort of a medical problem, perhaps. Stany is having difficulties. She broke her leg somehow. That's probably what's going on. And so Valentina has to transfer through here and hang out here to help Stany. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Valentina, we don't need a crew report. We need to transfer Valentina into here to help tend to Stany's wounds. And what is this? Stany doesn't have any wounds. Who could have ever seen this coming? Absolutely no one. This was completely unpredictable. Stany has now knocked out Valentina and is now transferring over to here. This is, of course, the only way out. This was Stany's only opportunity to do this. But now Stany wants to EVA. All hatches are obstructed. Stany is stuck inside of here. So her only hope is to pilot this shuttle back. But she's an engineer. And there's no piloting module on board. So what's a Stany to do? This is problematic for her. She's committed to this course of action now. So what can she do? It's an interesting question, for sure. Well, she has access to the Probodobodine Octo. This, of course, only seats one. So if Stany decides to make a break for this, then Valentina is actually dead. Because the only way that this can work at this point is for Stany to either pilot the command pod, which she can't do. She doesn't know how. Maybe she can try to muddle through it. Or she can utilize the autopilot on the Probodobodine Octo. As an engineer, she was able to rewire that, and she has full control here. So if she were to do a deorbit burn with this, that would be fine. And then re-enter, like undock and re-enter after that deorbit burn. So this engine would be probably shut down, but this would be dooming Valentina. Valentina has no proper way to survive this. There's no hatch, no way to get out. I know that says it's a crew hatch, but it isn't. There's no way for Valentina to get out. So, Stany has a conundrum on her hands. Does she try to land this whole thing? Or does she just tell Valentina, too bad, sucks to be you? I don't know. That's an interesting conundrum. No doubt about it. She might be able to bring this whole thing down. if she were to do so, what I'd do is I'd transfer the fuel like this, and then use this fuel here to deorbit. And that's exactly what she's going to do. I have no idea if any of these are going to survive this. This is a harebrained scheme that Stany came up with. We're going to shut down this engine. This is pretty wiggly here, no doubt about that. But we don't need much here. We just need to maneuver this into a periapsis of somewhere around... Honestly, we probably want to go pretty high up with this monstrosity. 60 kilometers? And then we'll do a re-entry burn with this engine. Stany's not a murderer. She doesn't want to kill Valentina. So we'll see what we can get done here. It's going to be real interesting. I have no idea how this is going to work. My guess is poorly. But this is Stany's harebrained scheme, and let's do it. We're going... Right. We actually need to flip this around. Stany is not used to orbital dynamics. We don't need to go retrograde here because we are controlled from here. What we need to do is we need to burn prograde, which is actually retrograde. So these are going to be reversed. Ooh, okay, and we've got offset thrust. That's pretty exciting. That's pretty exciting indeed. I didn't actually expect to have offset thrust. I'm using SAS, or rather RCS, to help us hold this. Okay. That's definitely more exciting than I had anticipated. Is this thing... It is gimbaling. Huh. I definitely didn't expect that to be this offset of thrust. But we're making progress here. We're at about 80 kilometers. And Stany is only targeting 60. Okay. I may have pressed a button here. I'm sorry, Stany may have pressed a button here. And I'm not sure what she did. But she actually does want to detach this at this point. So this engine is going to go away. And she wants to expose this heat shield. Also, there's currently some communications coming from Kerbin being like, hey, what's going on up there? Stany is retracting the antenna. We are no longer in communication. We're now burning with this engine, and we will activate that engine, which of course means we need to turn around to, at this point, what is actually retrograde. And we're going to do a re-entry burn here once we reach our 50-kilometer periapsis and bleed off some of our speed here. So we're going to warp around for a bit, and we're going to drift off of this marker, obviously. Valentina has woken up and is enjoying the ride, strangely. And now, of course, we need RCS back on. We need to get around to here quite quickly. Okay. And we're going to start our re-entry burn right now. We just want to slow down as much as we possibly can. Now, we're not coming back up, almost certainly. We do have our heat shield here. We would jettison this if we could, but we can't. So we're going to come in this direction. And it's going to be real interesting. How much burn time do we have in here? Over 200 seconds? Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of burn time. So we're braking here, and we want to stay on the retrograde marker. We want to kill as much vertical speed as we can, generally, as we're descending here. I'm wondering if we actually want to burn, like, 45 degrees here. Something like this. Yeah, I want to kill this vertical speed. Strangely, we are killing it pretty well. I like it. We're not killing all that much horizontal speed, which is to be expected. But we need to slow this on down, and we'd like to get this burnt out fairly quickly so that we don't have that much atmosphere between us and the ground. Specifically, what we want to do here is we want to burn this out and get flipped around. We still have 1,400 meters per second here, and we can see now our vertical speed is currently positive. And that's actually what I want. I want to head down over this way and find where we are. Our vertical speed is increasing. Okay, vertical speed is decreasing here. Cool. So here we'll be fine, and we're moving pretty slowly, actually, all things considered. We've got about half of this fuel burnt. This is an insane plan, Stany. I don't know why you decided to do this. But, okay. We're starting to go back down now. Now, primarily, we are still looking to be killing only horizontal speed. So we can see here we're accelerating very slightly downward. Here we're decelerating downward. Okay, cool. So that looks great. We're putting most of this into killing our horizontal speed, but we are definitely fighting gravity a lot here. This is not an efficient re-entry because it's not designed to be. Stany doesn't really know what she's doing, but it is a reasonably clever plan, I have to admit. We're going down a little bit quickly now again. That's okay. Look at how slowly we're moving. We're still quite high up, and Stany is still having about 40 seconds of burn time left here. So at this point, she's heading over to just kill horizontal speed. She thinks that she has enough margin now. And I suspect that she's correct. 25 seconds of burn time left in this engine. And she's moving real slow at this point. There's a lot of space between her and the ground. She will accelerate again once she stops the engines. That's for sure. And she also wants to make sure that the drogue chutes are correctly split off here. That would be helpful. And just something like this. We don't need to have this fairing in another stage, but we may as well. Okay, so we are now burned out, and we need to flip around. We need to get the heat shield facing inward. Beautiful. So we'll try to hold attitude here as best we can. We're building up speed, and that's to be expected. Will Stany survive this? I have no idea. She's trying to decelerate using the RCS. I mean, that's kind of clever too. She needs to keep moving slowly enough, but she's very high up still. But she needs to keep moving slowly enough so that she is going to be able to fire her drogue chutes, right? That's very, very important. She is slowing down now. Okay. Good job, Stany. I can't believe I'm rooting for this prison-breaking criminal, but whatever. That is the wrong direction. Okay. And the drogues are out. Stany's getting pulled around, but that's no shocker there. I wonder if Valentina will survive this. It'll be kind of remarkable if she does. But like I said, Stany is no murderer, and Stany is very, very interested in keeping Valentina alive. So far, this plan seems to remarkably be working. It's a terrible plan. I don't recommend this to anyone, but Stany is actually pulling this off. Nice. Now, Stany is still trying to decelerate with RCS here. It's not really necessary, to be honest. You can stop that, Stany. You should be okay. I don't know about all this weight on top of Valentina, and it's probably going to tip over when we land. If there's too much weight, Stany can always drop the heat shield here. But I'm guessing this thing's going to tip over. But Valentina's located here. It would be this engine that explodes if anything does. So there go the drogue chutes. And that pulls them on around. Okay, that's exciting. I'd hoped that it wouldn't do that, but it makes sense that it does that. Yep, that seems fine. The main chute should be deploying shortly. This would be a lot better if Stany had timed it to splash down in the water, but we're coming in on land, and it's going to be interesting. We're only moving at 35 meters per second. So far, so good. And this brings us down to 7? That's not bad. Not bad at all. So we're going to head on down to the surface here. I'm actually rather shocked that Stany pulled this off. Remarkable. But we've got a prison break here. No doubt about that. So we need to be on hand to recover them. And the question is, how much tipping over is going to happen here? A lot, but we should still have our parachutes, is the answer. So here we go, down into the trees. And right on the engine. No parachutes. Yikes. Okay, they both survived. Valentina is not looking so happy anymore. But they survived. Something blew up here. I'm not sure what it was. Probably a parachute or a solar panel that blew up on that impact, or one of our RCS thruster blocks. But that is remarkable that Stany managed to pull that back without any training like that. We will have to definitely plan for that in future prison ships, because yeah, that was a little too easy for her, to be honest. Luckily, we are on hand, and we're able to recover this. We tracked her all the way down. We were well aware when she broke off communications that this was happening. So we were able to respond. We have her in custody on a I was going to say a terrestrial prison, but I guess we could say like a kerbestrial prison? Sure. So Stany is under control again. Now the question is, do we build a new prison platform for her? I don't know the answer to that. For now, she's being held safe and sound in the astronaut complex. She gained some experience out of that, too. I mean, I'd say so. That was quite a lot of experience that she should have gained. So what do we have for exploration now? A Minmus flyby. I mean, yeah, we'll take that. Are we prepared to do that right now? The answer, I think, is probably not. We did finish up a world first milestone here. We've got a decent amount of cash at this moment. I would like to grab additional science, but right now I feel like we don't really want to do that. I think we need to get back to the viewer contracts. It's been a little bit on that. So that is going to be what we're going to be going into next episode. This was a slightly shorter episode, but it was an action-packed one, so I think that'll be fine. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, James, Shadow Wolf, and Lohan80, Rogue Corvid, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Anna the Elephant, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.